What's up, gang? Today's video we are placing trail cameras on public land. There aren't any ag sources nearby, so let's get to it.
Alright, it's June 12th, I think. Out on the second camera. Placement outing, the first was kayak access. I forgot the GoPro for that. This is I'm headed into the area where I scouted some mountaintop swamps this past winter. Found a couple good areas. One, I'm going to be placing a cell camera because it's not friendly to get into. It's in the middle of a thicket, so I don't want to be walking in and out of that because it sucks. So the good news so far on this piece is I found an old logging road, which is going to make it a lot easier getting in here. Now you might say it's going to make it easier for people to get in here. Agree, but I don't think they're going to walk into where I'm at, just because you can't see very far and it's just really thick and nasty once you get into the clear cut. And on that logging road, of course, that would be a great place for scrapes to pop up. I didn't see any, but I saw a pretty good historical rub, so that's always good to see, even if it wasn't necessarily from last year. You know, the fact that bucks are using it is cool. All right, so I'm actually in the cut now, and I bumped another bedded deer. That one I was able to get within probably 15 yards of it before it moved. There's a definitive trail getting on, kind of outlining how they're getting in here. That's something I didn't see when we scouted this the last time, because once we hit this rock that I'm standing on, there's an oak tree behind me that was dropping acorns, so I kind of marked this as like the feeding opportunity in the bedding. And once we saw this, we hightailed it over the top of the mountain to this other area we wanted to check out. So the way I accessed in, there was a definitive trail that they were using to pinch them and funnel them down into the clear cut. And I think that that's probably my best setup opportunity. It's probably where I'm going to kind of backtrack and hang the trail camera and let them just kind of have this, because they're clearly using it, clearly comfortable. So there's no use in me spending much time in here. I know that they're here. Now it's just a matter of finding if there's a deer in here worth hunting. On this next piece, super crazy thick, just even getting off the access path. Cool thing is though, I totally forgot it today, but I think I'll use my mountain bike to ride into this spot. It's about a mile back to Game Land's access road, and so I can do that entire mile on my bike, and then dip off into the woods and probably save myself probably a good 10 minutes of walking, because there's not a lot of hills or anything like that, and be even quicker getting out. So I think that's going to be the plan. We'll walk into here and see exactly where I want to hang this camera. There was a community scrape that was down here this winter, and I kind of want to walk by that, and then I found a bed also that I might want to walk by and check out. So that's the plan. 2 more cameras hung. One was over a pretty good trail. I found a primary scrape area, or probably a community scrape area, this winter scouting, and you couldn't really see where exactly the deer were coming from. Now that it's greened up a little bit, we've had a little bit of rain, I can clearly see where the deer kind of move through and how they're getting in and out. So the cool thing is that community scrape is right along a heavily traveled trail, which isn't surprising. So I hung a camera there. Hopefully I'll get some inventory of what's coming up and down that trail. And then I ventured over to a lone oak tree that was dropping acorns in the edge of this clear cut, kind of just on the edge of the clear cut as you just start to get back into it. And I found a bed maybe 40-50 yards away from that this past winter, rubs in it and stuff like that. So clearly a buck bed. So I hung a camera off that, where the trail in which I think he's using to get in. I hung a camera there. Both these pieces are completely new to me, so these cameras are really kind of validating whether or not I'm going to spend much time here or not. Probably gonna have to move the cameras a couple times this year just to try to get them in the right spots, but this will be the first go at it. So we'll see what it produces. I'm holding out some hope for the scrape area as it gets closer to mid-October. I think that there will be some action there. Just don't know of what caliber, of what age class. So on to the next piece. Got a couple more cameras to hang. Last stop for the putting out cameras today on a piece of public that I had an encounter with a shooter last year. Did some scouting this winter. Think I figured out where he was coming from. Didn't figure out where he was bedded exactly, but I think it's near the edge of this swamp. And there's a really nice pinch point in and around the cattails. So I marked that in the winter and plan to go back and hang a camera there now. All right, so I just walked into this area where I had an encounter with a shooter last year. Primary scrape area, got dark deered, but when I came in here in the winter to scout and figure out where he might be traveling from or where he might be bedded, I looked a lot different. So they came in and did a cut, or at least pushed all the stuff back that was along the edge of this. So that has changed since I was in here in the winter. I don't think it'll affect the pinch point back here in the swamp, but it may have a little bit of it may change things up in this little area here where I thought would probably be a good annual year-over-year primary scrape area. So bad news on the kayak trip in. There was no way for me to get to those beds. I was trying to kayak in to an area where we thought there might be some beds on these small trees that were kind of out in the timber. So that did not transpire. There was just no way for me to get kayaked into them far enough. I'm gonna need waders, which I don't have on me or with me or own. So that'll have to happen. So I'm back on the ground now, walking to the area where I had scouted this winter to try to put a camera up, close to where I think those beds are at. And then we'll just have to go from there, and hopefully I'll get some pictures and get some waders and be able to get in there maybe later this summer or maybe super early fall and check those beds or check those trees for beds. We got that camera hung, not exactly where I wanted to put it. It's a really defined trail that I'd found this winter. You just can't get to it. It's so grown up right now, there's just no possible way to get into it. So I ended up finding a trail kind of leading out of the area that I wanted to put it in, and hung it there. So it looks like it's getting some decent traffic. This is a new piece. Have to let it set for about a month and then come back and check it and make sure that I have it placed in the right area. There's one other spot I thought I maybe could hang one, but we'll see if we get any inventory on this picture, or on this camera. So that is a wrap for today. There's a wrap for hanging cameras for right now, and we'll check them in about a month and see what we got, and then it'll be on to the fall.